Jason Statham just wanted to grow his hair. Instead, prison guards locked him up. His cell's location is very unusual. To his left lives a Western martial arts master. He's never been materialistic. To his right lives a con artist master. No one escapes his cons. They didn't end up in prison by chance, but for entertainment. Now Jason is between them. He naturally became their target, though they couldn't see him. But in 3 days, they understood his personality. Using the prison's rotating library, they read the same book daily, sharing their insights. Jason soon realized his intelligence was no match for the master's. The strangest thing is, the prison walls are very thick, but he could smell them enjoying feasts. Gradually, Jason desired their abilities. He began to trust them deeply. Not only he revealed how he was framed, he also shared where he kept his cash. After learning his story, they decided to help him reclaim his honor. They shared their chess and con techniques. Jason studied diligently for revenge. Eventually, he became a high-intelligence master. They saw his progress. They decided to break out together. Jason had no doubts. He was excited. The next morning, guards found the two masters vanished, leaving no trace. Angered, guards searched the prison thoroughly, but found no clues. They disappeared without a trace. Jason felt helpless. After 7 years, his imprisonment ended. Jason was finally released, but upon returning home, all his valuables had vanished. His hidden cash was gone. They didn't leave him underwear. Only a note said, "Only by associating with the wise can one gain wisdom." Jason realized the two masters did it. He was furious, but helpless. Fortunately, the chess and con techniques were real. With these skills, he made a fortune at the casino. He earned more money than he could spend, but he didn't rush to enjoy it. Instead, he sought revenge on his framers. His enemy was a local gang boss, also his former boss. Years ago, to win a major bet, he threatened Jason's brother's family, forcing Jason to join the bet. After Jason won, the opponent angrily cursed him. Unable to restrain himself, Jason smashed his drink. A gunfight broke out immediately. Weeks later, Jason was reported and jailed. The gang boss didn't want him to expose him, so he sent men to find Jason's brother's family. They accidentally killed his brother's wife. Jason was very angry, but for his brother's safety, he took all the blame himself. Now released from prison, he brought people to the gang boss's casino to show him a thing or two. How Jason sought revenge. He first went to the enemy's casino, found the boss's poor gambler subordinate, and decided to bet with him. He thought he would surely win, but he lost to the opponent immediately. The gang boss began to boast, "You pawn those talents most skillfully." Seeing the boss had taken the bait, Jason knew his chance had come. "I'll take everything from you. There's no problem today." As he spoke, Jason won all the opponent's money. The gang boss was furious. He had his men find a way to act to eliminate Jason. At that moment, Jason had the money and was ready to flee. But just as he was leaving, a Chris guy stopped him. "Your trouble, miss. Twink it out." After taking the card, Jason left. To avoid an elevator ambush, Jason chose the stairs, but as he went downstairs, his back gave way with a loud noise. Next second, Jason fell down the stairs. He hit his head, limbs flailing. Eventually, he landed at the bottom. He seemed unconscious. Suddenly, he saw the card said to take the elevator. They had anticipated that stairs were dangerous for Jason. At the hospital, the doctor said Jason was fine, no superficial injuries, but the cause of his fall was unclear, so the doctor drew his blood for testing. They'd contact Jason once results were out. After discharge, Jason was about to go home, but found a note at his door. It said, "Pick it up." As Jason bent down, bullets flew towards him. Jason's friend returned fire immediately. Someone wanted to ambush. Jason quickly opened fire. Under cover, he hid in the car. But the enemy's fire was too fierce. All his friends fought fiercely. In this critical moment, a cannon suddenly appeared. It unleashed a barrage on enemies. They covered Jason and got into his car. Then Chris took him to a game club. He introduced Jason to his friend Tom. Tom was also a chess master. He seemed to know everything about Jason. Tom said he left the note. Otherwise, Jason would have been ambushed. Jason wanted to know their purpose. Unexpectedly, Tom's brother gave him a test report. It showed Jason's blood test results. Tom said he'd die of a terminal illness in 3 days, and told Jason to give them all his money. They'd help Jason fulfill his wishes. Upon hearing this, Jason felt they were scamming him with a fake report. Angry, he left immediately, but the earlier doctor had said the same as Tom. Jason thought the doctor must have been bribed. so he went to an out-of-town hospital for a checkup. However, the test results were still the same. Angry, Jason raised his gun on the spot, forcing the doctor to tell the truth. Seeing the doctor's intense reaction to death, Jason knew the doctor wasn't bribed. He believed he had the terminal illness. To take revenge within 3 days, Jason brought all his cash to find Tom and Chris. They agreed to become their errands, as long as they helped him take revenge. Seeing the genuine cash, Tom and Chris happily agreed. He thought they'd immediately help him, but they took his money to lend at high interest rates, making huge profits. Jason was very helpless, but he complied obediently. His mind was consumed with revenge. He waited until they finished the high-interest loans, then began to act. This time, the gang boss was very distressed. This was the simplest, most brutal theft method. They welded a chain to the safe. After the chain passed through the wall, the other end was fixed to a large truck. As they pressed the gas pedal, the wall collapsed instantly. The safe was smoothly dragged out. When the gang boss came to check, only a big hole was left. He immediately became nervous. Tom and others had found out. The safe contained a pile of flour. It was stored by a big figure at the gang boss's place. All the gang's business went through this figure. Now the flour was missing. The delivery date was imminent. The gang boss was as anxious as ants on a hot pan. They worked hard to continue making money, had to send men to buy goods from competitors, although the other side demanded much. For future business, the gang boss agreed. On the day before the transaction, Jason and his group arrived next door to the location, drilled a hole in the wall. When the time was right, they wore gas masks, sent smog into the next room, knocked out everyone, then looted cash and flour. Upon waking, found their underwear. They suspected Tom. The boss was too angry to speak. Meanwhile, Tom was pleased, because his goal was to make them fight. Soon, a competitor sent an assassin to kill the boss at the banquet. But before attacking, they were knocked down by the boss's men. Men pinned her to protect the boss. But this gave the assassin a chance. Sadly, she was dying. After shooting, she severed the boss's finger. Later, the boss had a breakdown, became paranoid. Jason was pleased to deliver another blow. Jason infiltrated the boss's home, treated him like a fool. After harsh words, he left. The boss rushed out. He blocked Jason with his gun. Seeing his subordinate disrespect him, the boss was angry. He wanted Jason to submit. Seeing Jason was unafraid, he calmly smiled. The boss trembled angrily. Jason knew the boss had collapsed. With his goal achieved, he stopped Jason. The boss was desperate. This was the best revenge. Unable to bear the torment, the boss chose to commit suicide. After returning, Jason wanted to eliminate Tom, because they gave high-interest loans to the weak. Their debt collection was extremely cruel. Once, they made Jason shoot an elderly man unable to repay. Naturally, Jason couldn't do it, but Tom and Chris pressed him. Angry, Jason shot Tom on the spot, but his gun was empty. Chris anticipated Jason's betrayal. He left Jason's gun unloaded. Tom knocked Jason out during his distraction. When Jason woke up, 3 days had passed. He found he was still alive and physically fine, so he returned to the hospital. The doctor said the tests were wrong. He was in good health. Angry, Jason went to find Tom, but they disappeared mysteriously. Jason recalled his experiences. He realized that Tom and Chris were the two prison bosses. Suddenly, two voices appeared in his mind. His mind began to split. The so-called bosses never existed. 7 years in prison made Jason bored and lonely. Plus his obsession with avenging his sister-in-law grew. After enduring torment, Jason developed split personalities. This created Tom and Chris. Here's the end of the movie recap. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel for more great movie recaps.